Like I've explained, we're from the football unit at Lancashire Police. There's an incident that has been brought to our attention. Over the summer, you may or may not be aware, an England women's footballer by the name of Jess Carter was subject to some quite nasty racial abuse. There's been an investigation that's been conducted by Cheshire Constabulary, and following police inquiries, there is an incident which we believe that you have some direct involvement in. Okay, so we've been instructed here today to obviously come and formally arrest you for that offence and then search the property. Okay, so I'm just going to inform you now. It's 7:27. I'm going to formally arrest you on suspicion of malicious communications. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you're not mentioned when questioned.
That was body cam footage posted by The Independent showcasing police apprehending Nigel DeWall of Lancashire. The reason for the visit was because the 60-year-old man made very poor choices, and it was purely self-inflicted.
Whilst I feel every fan is entitled to their opinion, I don't think it's okay to target someone's appearance or race.
That post came from England defender Jess Carter. She was targeted by DeWall during the UEFA Women's Euros last year. So what did DeWall post? LBC reports he put on his TikTok account under the username Bogeyman the following, and this is just him: brownies are racist murderers, fiddlers, and groomers. End of. Another racist card again. Always brownies faking. This women's football should not be on television. Waste of airtime. He would admit to the crimes, plead guilty, but avoid prison after being given a suspended sentence. In addition, he would also receive a 4-year football banning order and a requirement to engage in a 10-day rehabilitation program. Carter feared for her life. She feared leaving the team hotel. That is what this man did. Now, what's rather troubling is not just the nature of these messages on social media. That's a given, considering what we know. It is, for one, the influence that has taken place in the United Kingdom. Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK.
If you're simpering for Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez's big natural,
showed his misogyny.
For our leader, they don't mean you can select candidates. That is the unhealthy relationship in British politics.
Former leader of the Conservative Party, William Hague, mouthed "stupid woman" in Parliament.
A Conservative member of Parliament compared taking a knee to protest against racism to doing a Nazi salute.
Brendan Clark-Smith, a Tory MP, said this.
So the journalist Toby Young has resigned from the new higher education watchdog. He's been widely condemned for making crude remarks on social media in the past and in articles. Some of the things he said or tweeted or written in magazine articles in the past include, while watching Comic Relief back in 2009, he commented, "What happened to Winkleman's breasts? Put on some weight, girly." A few hours later, he wrote, "Alan Carr has bigger breasts than Claudia Winkleman." While watching PMQ's Prime Minister's Questions in 2011, he wrote, "That's quite a cleavage behind Ed M." In 2012, during PMQs, he tweeted, "Serious cleavage behind Ed Miliband's head. Anyone know who it belongs to? Hashtag PMQs." And there are one or two really crude other ones that if I actually read them out to you on TV, I'd get into trouble from you.
Toby Young, an ally of Boris Johnson, would resign after his sexism was discovered. Speaking of the former Prime Minister,
the Prime Minister has made repeated offensive remarks against single mothers and their children. Yes, and he described them as ill-raised, ignorant, aggressive and illegitimate. Against Muslim women, saying they look like bank robbers. Against working women, suggesting the best way of dealing with advice from a female colleague is just to pat her on the bottom and send her on her way.
Boris Johnson has quite a history as well, doesn't he? As a writer, per the Byline Times, he wrote a bizarre article for The Telegraph in which he reviewed the quality of the hot toddy he had observed at the Labour Party conference. Lest we forget, in the year 2019, the Sunday Times and journalist Charlotte Edwards alleged that Johnson once groped her and another woman during a lunch hosted by The Spectator magazine. These are not only elected leaders like Boris Johnson and appointments of those who are put in positions to lead. Whether we like it or not, their positions, along with their words, carry weight. The other effect on all of this is what it does to the athletes.
I think it just makes you feel really small. It makes you feel like you're not important, that you're not valuable, and it makes you second guess everything that you do. And on top of that, it's the way it makes my family feel. Like my family was so devastated by it as well, and so sad by it. I think that how it impacts the people around you sometimes is even worse about how it impacts you directly. And I think that's what is really, I think that's what's really sad, is just the hate that people have in them to give out. I will never understand.
And not just that, but self-doubt.
She was wanting to play me and kind of spoke to me about it. And at the time I didn't say anything to her, but in my head I just thought, are you sure?
The way so many people in England, at least in this example, feel so comfortable abusing black footballers is astounding and sadly consistent.
Hateful images and racial slurs targeting their social media profiles, with other slurs, some fans telling Saka to go back to Nigeria. He was born in London.
At Euro 2020, England played in the final. They would lose to Italy on penalties, and this is what went down for some players. Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, and Jadon Sancho would miss and receive bigoted treatment. For Rashford, his hometown mural was defaced. All of them received vitriol for their misses. The conversations that so many sports fans don't have is the effect this mistreatment has. The team at the ESSEC Sports Chair would print, research has shown that this online abuse towards the athletes can have long-lasting effects on them, potentially leading to mental health issues, lower performance, and even withdrawal from the sport. In addition, a survey by the FIA and UAOA, a coalition to stop hate speech in sports, would show that 90% of federations believe that athletes may quit due to online abuse. Furthermore, research found that 71% of female athletes witness gendered abuse, and nearly half were targeted, affecting their well-being and performance. Another layer that must be unpeeled is this.
A record
Super Doja partner of
biggest parlay I've ever hit. Turned into over $500,000.
the Chiefs.
The role of gambling and the effect that it too has on the sports industry.
Man, fucking green apple looking at, stupid big ass Timbs on, Jimmy Butler, man, they don't give a fuck you in that city. Stupid looking ass, look at him. Mopain looking ass. Yeah. Bro, I put 3,000 to win 30. Why you ain't have 30 perks? Jimmy Butler, why you did not have a 30 perks? You were supposed to go over, bitch. You work for Vegas. You work for Vegas.
The way sports fans have gone after some of their favorite athletes or those that they gamble on is utterly pathetic, and we have too many to list, but here are a few. Chris Boucher, formerly the Warriors, Raptors, and Celtics, told Yahoo Sports Canada that a person sent a message to him that read, "I chose the wrong slave today," linking it to sports gambling. Boucher would say, "I'm so over this." A member of Wolves in the Premier League was also subjected to it. When he missed a penalty, one user sent him this message: "Effing N-word sold my parlay again." Of course, it's not just the Premier League.
That's right, Gabby. Come on, Gabby. Don't choke, Gabby, like you did yesterday, Gabby. Yeah. You a choke artist. You going down, Gabby. You going down, Gabby. You going down, Gabby. We doing it for Track Spice. Okay, Track Spice in the house. Come on, Melissa. Melissa got married this year. Got a black husband. Gabby got a white guy. I want Melissa to win. Come on, Gabby. You know what time it is. Track Spice in the house. Come on, Oregon. Jaden Mays, the finest thing out there. Jaden Mays thinks she fine. She thinks she cute.
A user by the name of Mr. 100K a day uploaded this video. He would write, I made Gabby lose by heckling her, and it made my parlay win. Posting the betting slips. Last year at the NCAA Division I Championships, one user threatened a collegiate athlete, writing, yo, no big deal, but if you don't get 22 points and 12 boards, everyone you know and love will be dead. CNN's piece would read, over 540 abusive betting-related messages, including death threats, were leveled at men's and women's basketball student athletes and game officials during March Madness, a preliminary set of data trends found. Liam Hendricks, a 14-year player in Major League Baseball who has pitched for the Boston Red Sox, Chicago White Sox, and many others. He also overcame a cancer diagnosis. He posted this on Instagram of his experience. Death threats against him, his wife, his family, telling him to off himself, and more. Enough is enough, he would state. Speaking with The Athletic, he said, with the rise of sports gambling, it's gotten a lot worse. Whether it be Venmo requests, whether it be people telling you in their comments, hey, you blew my parlay, go F yourself, kind of blank. And then it's go hang yourself, you should kill yourself. I wish you died from cancer. That one kind of hit a little too close to home for me, with everything I've gone through. So what exactly can be done? The WNBA has done this, at least. They launched the No Space for Hate initiative, a multi-dimensional platform designed to combat hate and promote respect across all WNBA spaces, from online discourse to in-arena behavior. For me personally, bigger and better charges, more jail time, more punishments, because some will argue that these are not hate crimes, but what it really does, and the all-encompassing feeling that we should all have, is when we see stuff like this, we should think about, number one, how sports gambling has ruined the way that we watch sports. We can get into private equity. We can get into owners not caring about their teams at a different time. This is about the way that gambling and just overall racism has led to a lesser product. Why should athletes fear for their lives? Because you decided to wager your own money in your own bank account on your own accord on a stupid prop bet. One thing that I feel is starting to gain more and more traction is potentially reversing the sports gambling laws and trying to limit how many states do allow it. The other is, once more stringent punishments for racial abuse and death threats that target athletes. Because when those who do their best, train their minds, train their bodies, put in the hours, blood, sweat, and tears to make it to the highest levels of sports, are rocked and taken off track by so many bad faith people who target them, who abuse them for one reason or another that is not valid, you know who loses? They do, and so do us.